My question was related to is there certain services that are more appropriate for particular ashrams? Like I've had for someone in the renounced or the renounced or brahmachari, perhaps it's better to focus on activities like preaching as opposed to management, because perhaps management invokes passion and to have a cool mind or a cool head, it may not be so conducive for that particular ashram. And also, I was thinking just from personal experience, sometimes if you're managing in an ashram, then sometimes your focus is more on efficiency than the personal relationship you have with the devotees that you're managing. And living in an ashram, that can kind of perhaps sometimes hamper the relationship. So should a brahmachari who is feeling that avoid that specific service? And maybe
well, if one really studies the matter traditionally, then what we do today in all the four ashrams is vastly different. We were discussing how Narada Muni speaks about brahmachari life and grihastha life and so on. So to some degree it's not possible to do everything exactly like that in the current context. But yes, definitely there are certain things that are more conducive or favorable for brahmachari life. Of course, if you say even preaching, you're going out in the streets distributing books nowadays, someone could say even that is not conducive because you have to go up and you have to talk to ladies who are not appropriately dressed even, and they all want to come and talk. So there is risk everywhere. Whatever you do in preaching, there is a risk. So, yes, there may be considerations of being appropriate, inappropriate services, but when it comes to management, you see nowadays things have become so complicated that you can't do without management. Preaching gets spoiled when there's poor management. Even in the brahmachari ashram, you've got to have things organized well. So, my personal opinion is that we shouldn't rule out a brahmachari doing management. It's only that when situations become very, very intense, that's when perhaps it may not be the most appropriate, because then the brahmachari may get a little weak mentally and spiritually and then succumb to the pressures and give up. But if everything is balanced regularly, the brahmachari is cautious in terms of doing his sadhana properly and hearing and chanting properly, his relationship with the brahmachari is okay, and he deals with the ladies appropriately, as much only as required in the proper way, then there is no reason why he should not do it, if that's his propensity. I have observed many brahmacharis are not of the preaching types. You can't expect everybody to be of the same type. Some are studious, some are go-getters, they're very active, some brahmacharis even are very passionate. So everyone needs, according to their psychophysical nature, some kind of appropriate engagement. So therefore I would say whatever helps a brahmachari remain happy and fixed in Krishna consciousness is good, within certain parameters, within certain boundaries, where it doesn't involve too much interaction with the Matajis or things like that. So that would be my opinion.
if you feel, just on that point, if you feel that a certain service involvement is affecting the consciousness and you're becoming weak, is it something that we should just express and discuss with seniors and work out?
Yes, certainly it should.
And if they're adamant, you still stay involved?
That's something that has to be discussed. Case to case, it can't give a general response. But if you find too much of difficulty with the senses in a particular kind of service, then yes, it should be brought up. And if it's consistently happening, then you have to discuss it honestly with your authorities. That yes, this is the difficulty. And then maybe some other service or something like that. Yeah. but it's something also you need to discuss with other devotees about the specific instance, specific cases.
My question was, I don't know if you want to answer, is, I've heard from some devotees say that one doesn't become a brahmachari when he's born a brahmachari. And if one finds themselves struggling with the brahmachari ashram, that you just give it up and just get married. So I was wondering what you thought about it.
I was born a brahmachari. So was I. I was not married when I was born. That sounds like some sort of caste consciousness philosophy. So you're born a brahmachari, vihasta, vanipasta, sannyasi. I don't think that's our philosophy. Is that our philosophy? Praladananda Maharaj, is that our philosophy?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, you know Shastra very well.
Well, obviously there's tendencies, but beyond our tendencies is the holy name. When we take shelter of the holy name, then in any ashram we'll be a brahmachari. And if we don't take shelter of the holy name, in any ashram we won't be a brahmachari.
In Udupi, in South India, the place of Madhvacharya, to a young man is going to be a sannyasi, they do some astrological readings to see if he has renunciation in his chart. And this way only those who have a certain thing in their chart, they go on to become brahmacharis. But I was talking with one of our ISKCON sannyasis, and he said, well, when I had my chart done, there was nothing on that. In fact, my chart says I meant to have 4 children. And hey, look at me. And that was Sri Swami, who remained the sannyasi until he passed away. So, just to echo, that the holy name can make up for any of those birth tendencies. And lack of qualification can be overridden by the chanting of the holy name. Otherwise, I think, quite honestly, none of us really were here because of our birth qualities.
Another question I have is, we all have the tendency to enjoy the looking for sense gratification. And they say that sometimes, if you have to ask for license for sense gratification. So the question I wanted to ask is, how much sense gratification is a brahmachari allowed? It is safe. Some scriptures say, for example, sense gratification of brahmachari is prasadam. And some people say you should watch how much prasadam you take. So how much prasadam is too much prasadam? or brahmachari, because you can artificially try to renounce, and that's even more difficult. Also practicing in the West, that's the only, sometimes the only shelter one has. So.
In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says one shouldn't eat too much or eat too little, or sleep too much or sleep too little. He doesn't give any numbers. He doesn't tell you how many hours. Prabhupada does in purport about sleeping. But other than that, it's understood that it's up to us individually to find the balance. Now, sense gratification for all ashrams is something we're aiming to end altogether, because as we were discussing this morning, it's all about learning to please Krishna's senses.